Have you ever seen a woman get slammed hard into a Corolla door by a Brenda wielding a purse like it's a medieval flail while screaming about her spot like it was sacred family land passed down through generations? Yeah, that's exactly what happened to my sister Maya on a Tuesday, a regular, stupidly sunny Tuesday. The thing is, Brenda had no idea. She just put her hands on the one woman who once dismantled a weapons cartel using only a bottle of nail polish remover and a paperclip. So there we were, Maya rubbing her elbow, Brenda yelling into her phone, and me watching it unfold through a gas station window with a half-eaten taquito in hand, wondering if this was the moment the suburbs finally met their match. What Brenda didn't know was that by dragging my sister out of her car, she didn't just start a parking lot argument. She accidentally reignited a dormant government operation, woke up enemies hidden in plain sight, and invited chaos to brunch. And Maya? Oh, she was smiling that terrifyingly calm smile she only wore when she was seconds away from destroying someone's life. It had started off so annoyingly peaceful. Maya had just finished yoga and was now parked outside the neighborhood grocery store, humming off-key to some retro pop song and sipping a green smoothie that tasted like wet lawn clippings. She looked, for all intents and purposes, like a harmless, health-obsessed millennial just trying to exist. But of course, peace doesn't last long when a Brenda is about. An enormous white SUV, with more bumper stickers than paint, pulled up behind her, revving unnecessarily as though they were at a drag race and not a suburban strip mall. Brenda, dressed in leopard print and radiating middle-aged vengeance, stormed out of the vehicle like she'd just been told Maya personally insulted her Pinterest board. "I saw you take my spot," Brenda shouted, finger jabbing like it had GPS. Maya looked up, puzzled. There were like 6 empty spots. Brenda's eyes narrowed, her face turning the color of expired ketchup. "That was my spot. I circled twice." Maya blinked slowly, like a cat judging a toaster. "Did you brand it?" That's when Brenda reached in, unbuckled Maya's seat belt, and tried to haul her out of the car like she was evicting a trespassing raccoon. I watched in slow motion, stunned, taquito frozen halfway to my mouth. She actually dragged her out. My sister stumbled out, hands up, eyebrows raised in a blend of shock and amusement. Maya wasn't the type to cause a scene unless absolutely necessary. But the way she looked at Brenda then, that calm calculation, that's when I knew this wouldn't end in an apology or a petty Instagram story. Something was about to explode. Brenda, now filming with her phone like she was the star of her own courtroom drama, was narrating every move. "This woman just assaulted me. She stole my parking spot and then tried to hit me with her purse." Maya, who hadn't said more than 3 words since exiting the car, just stood there, arms crossed, lip twitching. "You sure you want to go down this road?" she asked softly, her voice almost kind. Brenda scoffed. "What? You going to call your manager?" At that exact moment, a black van across the street flickered its headlights. Once, twice, pause, once more. Maya's expression didn't change, but I saw it. Her pupils dilated slightly, her shoulders squared a hair, and she casually reached up to adjust the hair tie on her wrist, a move I recognized from years ago. It wasn't a nervous tick, it was a trigger action, something she used to do right before jumping into high-stakes missions. And now she did it because a van blinked. Brenda kept yelling, oblivious. "I have 3 million followers on TikTok. You're done. You'll never work in this town again." "I work in data analysis," Maya replied deadpan. "Nobody knows I exist." Brenda blinked, momentarily thrown off, but she bounced back fast. "That's even worse. You're invisible, like a cyber criminal." From inside the store, I put my taquito down. Something wasn't right. Maya hadn't even tried to de-escalate. She was stalling, watching, calculating. And that van, parked a little too neatly, engine running but lights off again. It gave me the same feeling I got once when a puma locked eyes with me at 3 a.m. behind a dumpster. Primal dread. Brenda, meanwhile, had climbed onto the Corolla's hood for a better angle. "You think you can disrespect me and get away with it?" she howled. Maya took a slow step back and tilted her head. "No," she said calmly. "But I think you're about 5 seconds away from realizing you just messed with the wrong data analyst." Brenda raised an eyebrow. "What does that even mean?" That's when the back door of the black van slid open, and a man dressed all in black with a radio earpiece stepped out, casually holding a tablet and scanning the crowd. Maya didn't wait. She turned her back to Brenda, tapped her phone 3 times, and muttered under her breath, "Protocol Raven Feather." My phone buzzed. Incoming message from Maya. They found me. I froze. Not because I didn't believe her, not because I didn't know what it meant, but because I did. Protocol Raven Feather wasn't just some paranoid nickname for backup plans. It meant she'd been burned. Her identity, location, all of it compromised, and not by accident. As Maya slowly guided Brenda off the car hood, smiling like a kindergarten teacher about to give someone detention, the man from the van began walking toward them, phone in one hand, other hand reaching into his coat. Brenda finally noticed. "Who's that guy? Is he with you? Oh my God, is this like a prank channel thing? Because if I'm on YouTube again, without makeup." Maya calmly grabbed Brenda by the arm and turned her toward the store entrance. "We need to walk now. And for the love of overpriced oat milk, shut up." Brenda yanked her arm away. "Don't tell me what to do. I know my rights." Maya didn't respond. She just stepped into the store, Brenda reluctantly following, still filming. Outside, the man in black paused where Maya had stood seconds ago. He crouched, looked at the ground, smiled. Inside, Maya walked straight past me, dropped a protein bar into my basket, and whispered, "It's starting again." I looked up. "You think it's a hit?" "Worse," she said. "It's a recon." And just like that, a parking spot tantrum had turned into something else entirely, something deadly. The sky had that awkward in-between hue, like it couldn't decide whether to rain or explode in sunshine. It was the kind of atmosphere Maya always said felt like a mission was brewing, which, coming from her, wasn't just a vibe, it was a full forecast. She stood in the cereal aisle, pretending to compare the sugar content of oat clusters while the weight of her past came rushing back like a tactical boot to the chest. The man from the van hadn't entered yet, but his presence was already tightening the air like plastic wrap around a ticking bomb. I stood by the freezer section, half hiding behind a stack of frozen pizzas, watching her slip back into the skin she'd shed years ago. I'd seen that look before, the flicker of instincts lighting up behind her eyes like someone had flipped a switch marked covert operations. A memory hit me like a flashbang. Maya wasn't always my slightly sarcastic, smoothie-addicted sister who cried over dog rescue videos. Before she became the queen of spreadsheets and avocado toast, she was Agent Vesper, codename for a ghost. You didn't find her in the system because she was the system. She had infiltrated a Russian embassy by pretending to be a French pastry chef once. The woman had taken down an illegal uranium trade using a rogue karaoke night in Manila. There was a time she spoke 5 languages fluently, lied in all of them, and still found time to send me birthday gifts from whatever war-torn country she was probably destabilizing. Years ago, she vanished from the field after a mission known only to a handful of people, Operation Phoenix Rising. Rumors swirled that it ended in blood and betrayal. All I knew was she came back different, quieter, jumpier, scanning every room like someone who knew the universe didn't offer happy endings for free. One day, she just showed up at my door with a duffel bag and said, "You got oat milk?" And that was that. We never talked about what made her quit. But now, the past wasn't just knocking. It had kicked in the door, waved a black van, and sent men with tablets. Maya tossed a box of cereal into her basket and moved through the store like it was a maze she'd memorized. Brenda, somehow still oblivious and still recording, was following her while narrating every second like this was an audition tape for a crime documentary. I don't know who this lady is, but she just dragged me into a store after attacking me. I think she's a cult recruiter or an MLM person. Either way, I'm suing. Maya didn't even blink. Her focus was sharper now, predatory, not angry, just deeply aware that something bigger was brewing. I trailed behind at a distance, ready for whatever came next, which I really hoped didn't include gunfire near the produce section. She turned the corner toward the staff-only door at the back, pushed it open like she owned the place, and slipped inside with Brenda bumbling after her. I followed, figuring if Maya was walking toward the metaphorical fire, someone had to be there to scream and maybe throw fruit if needed. The staff break room smelled like old coffee and newer gossip. Maya turned, closed the door behind us, and stared at Brenda for a long moment. "You're not just a Brenda, are you?" she asked quietly. Brenda scoffed. "Excuse me." Maya stepped closer. "Who sent you? Who told you where I'd be?" Brenda looked genuinely confused for the first time since this entire circus began. What are you talking about? I was just trying to park, and you took my spot. And now we're here, and I don't even know what Raven Feather is. But it sounds like a boutique candle store. Maya studied her, every twitch, every blink. Her training kicked in. Micro-expression analysis, deception detection, years of interrogations condensed into a single gaze. You're telling the truth, she finally said. You really are just. You. Brenda crossed her arms. What's that supposed to mean? Before Maya could respond, her phone buzzed. She checked the screen, frowned, and showed it to me. Unknown number, text message, one word, Craven. I felt my stomach drop. Craven was her old handler, a man who didn't even breathe unless 12 shadowy departments approved it. If he was texting, it wasn't social. Maya stared at the screen for a beat too long, then tapped into the message. The next line appeared, You've been spotted. Protocol Raven Feather confirmed. Operative status compromised. Choose, run, or re-engage. Brenda looked between us like a kid watching two parents argue in Morse code. Okay, seriously, is this like a Netflix series? Because I'm not signing any releases. Maya pocketed her phone. We don't have time. They are not here for you, but you're now part of it. Brenda scoffed again. Part of what? Maya sighed. You ever heard of NSA Vault C? Brenda blinked. My husband used to work in government tech. I think he mentioned that once. Something about a red memory chip? He kept it in his drawer for years. Then one day, he said it went missing, and he was fired. Maya stepped forward so fast Brenda flinched. What drawer? Brenda backed up against the snack machine. I don't know. Our bedroom. Why do you care? I spoke up from the corner. Because Vault C wasn't just some storage room. It housed black budget algorithms, military code that could disable satellites or reprogram planes mid-flight. And a red chip means top clearance. Brenda's face turned pale. Wait, that was real. Maya nodded. And if someone thinks I have it, they won't just stop with intimidation. They'll kill to get it back. Brenda sat down on the edge of a counter like her legs couldn't be trusted anymore. I just wanted my parking spot. Maya turned toward me. We need to get to her house. If her husband kept the chip and it's missing, someone else has it. Or they think she does. That means she's bait. Brenda raised a hand, trembling. Wait, so you're saying I'm involved in, international cyber terrorism because I yelled at someone in a parking lot? Maya exhaled through her nose. Yes. Brenda buried her face in her hands. I knew I should have just gone to Trader Joe's. Maya's phone buzzed again. Another text from Craven. They are watching the house. Do not go home. Change location. Maya looked up. We need a safe zone, neutral territory. I offered the only place I could think of, my apartment. Maya nodded. Good. But we'll need to get there without being followed. Brenda whimpered. Are we going to have to rappel off the roof? Maya smirked. Only if you keep talking. And with that, the agent, the Brenda, and me, the useless bystander with a frozen taquito gut, slipped out the back door of a grocery store and into a world of encrypted chips, surveillance vans, and a suburban conspiracy deeper than any of us were ready for. We drove through the winding streets of suburbia like we were in a low-budget spy movie filmed in the middle of a bake sale. Maya took the wheel. Brenda sat nervously in the back, chewing on her thumbnail, and I just tried to keep my heart from launching itself through the dashboard. Maya didn't say much. She had that tight, focused look again, scanning every rearview mirror, every passing car, every pedestrian walking their dog as if each could be armed with something worse than a plastic poop bag. Brenda kept trying to fill the silence, muttering things like, "This is all a dream," or "I didn't even wear nice shoes for dying today," or my personal favorite, "I swear I didn't know that red chip was important. I thought it was just a fancy USB." The roads twisted around us, the landscape deceptively calm, cookie-cutter houses lining up like witnesses to a secret. Maya suddenly turned down a side street and veered into what looked like the entrance to a neighborhood block party. Colorful balloons floated lazily above white tents. Kids screamed in delight as they chased each other through bounce houses. A magician was doing tricks near a table of cupcakes while parents sipped lukewarm coffee and talked about mortgage rates. It was the perfect cover. Maya parked the car on the opposite end of the street, behind a row of trash bins, and shut off the engine. Brenda squinted at the scene. You brought us to a birthday party? Maya didn't answer right away. She was already scanning the area, eyes narrowing on security cameras attached to lamp posts, the angle of shadows, and the man grilling hot dogs who had far too muscular forearms for a PDA member. It's not a birthday party. It's a surveillance blind spot. They won't expect us to disappear in the middle of a social function. She pulled a hoodie over her head and handed me a pair of sunglasses. Blend in. Brenda looked around. How do I blend into something I was never invited to? You're a Brenda, I said. Just pretend you're here to complain about the noise. Maya led us through the gathering, moving with the confidence of someone who belonged everywhere and nowhere at the same time. I did my best to look like a bored dad. Brenda, surprisingly, slipped into the role with an unsettling ease, wagging her finger at the magician and loudly announcing, "That rabbit trick is culturally insensitive." Maya muttered, "Too good," as we reached the center of the park where a large inflatable slide had been set up. She crouched behind a row of folding chairs and yanked her phone from her pocket, typing furiously. The screen blinked with a scrambled feed of code and distorted static signals from intercepted comms. She turned the volume down and played back the last audio transmission. A voice, heavily digitized, crackled through. Asset is mobile. Do not engage until chip is confirmed. Orders from Tier 7. Remain, contain, or eliminate. Maya exhaled. They think she has it. Brenda squatted beside us, still huffing from her brief confrontation with a confused balloon artist. They keep saying chip. I don't have any chip. I don't even like chips. Too many carbs. I looked at Maya. What if her husband hit it on her without her knowing? Maya's expression didn't change, but something shifted in her tone. Then we need to flush out whoever's tracking her before they take the decision away from us. Just as she spoke, the bounce house behind us deflated with a hiss. Fast, sudden, unnatural. Kids screamed with glee, not realizing the timing was off. Maya stood. They're here. I turned around just in time to see two men step out of a dark sedan parked across the street. Suits, no ties, and the kind of sunglasses you don't buy at a gas station. One of them reached into his jacket. Move, Maya said. And just like that, chaos bloomed like a firework. We sprinted through the party, dodging cotton candy and confused toddlers. Maya grabbed a metal tray from the snack table and launched it with deadly accuracy. It slammed into one of the men's shins, buying us seconds. Brenda shrieked and tripped over a gift bag, but Maya caught her mid-fall and yanked her upright with the strength of someone who once deadlifted a NATO operative in the middle of an elevator shaft. We ducked behind a clown performing balloon animals, and Maya reached into her coat, pulling out what looked like a power bank. She twisted the sides, and with a faint click, it expanded into a compact EMP emitter. Time to make some noise, she said, pressing the button. All around us, phones glitched, music stopped, the lights on the tents flickered. But more importantly, the men chasing us staggered, equipment fried. One of them shouted into a dead earpiece, eyes widening as he realized what just happened. We took off again, this time down an alley behind the community center. Maya led us through a maze of backyard fences, ducking under laundry lines and through open gates. Brenda was wheezing like a deflating balloon. I'm going to sue my yoga instructor for false fitness promises. Maya stopped behind a garden shed and pulled out her phone again. We've got a few minutes, less if they regroup. Brenda slumped to the grass. Can someone explain why two Matrix extras just tried to abduct me? Maya finally turned toward her. Because your husband was running more than just office emails. The chip he lost. Whoever took it is trying to cover their tracks, and now they think you're holding a backup. Brenda frowned. But why me? Why not just go after him? Maya didn't flinch. Because he's already dead. Silence slammed into us like a freight train. Brenda's breath hitched. What? I checked this morning, Maya said, her voice soft but certain. There was a staged car accident last week. No press, no reports, but it's him. Brenda blinked rapidly, her hands shaking. I just thought he left. We'd been fighting, but I thought he was hiding at his brother's or something. I thought you were his insurance policy, Maya said gently. He embedded the backup somewhere you wouldn't think to look, somewhere even you didn't know. And now they think you're the only loose thread. Brenda covered her mouth, eyes welling. He said he was fixing things, that he had to disappear a while, but everything would be okay. I looked at Maya. So what now? Maya stood. Now we draw them out. We give them something they can't resist. Brenda sniffled. Like what? A decoy, Maya said. Something that screams, I have the chip. And we let them come to us. I raised an eyebrow. And what happens when they do? Maya smiled for the first time in hours. We returned the favor. Somewhere in the distance, the sound of a drone buzzed faintly over the rooftops, searching, scanning. The game wasn't over, it was just beginning. The plan was insane, which meant Maya loved it. She didn't say it outright, but the glint in her eyes as she laid out the next steps was enough. We were going to infiltrate a homeowners association meeting. On paper, that sounded like a punishment reserved for unpaid parking tickets or suburban purgatory. But Maya insisted that this particular HOA wasn't just about lawn regulations and passive-aggressive newsletters. According to her intel, it was a covert front, a rotating meetup for a black market tech ring made up of former NSA freelancers, ex-defense contractors, and middle-aged men who wore polos like armor. Somehow, this HOA was the social camouflage for a syndicate laundering secrets through community maintenance budgets and falsified sidewalk repairs, because apparently nothing hides evil better than flower beds and monthly potlucks. We arrived at the meeting venue just before sunset. It was a pristine community hall, decked out with cheap streamers and folding chairs that had definitely seen more conspiracies than comfort. Maya, dressed in her default undercover mom mode, had managed to secure us 3 passes through a contact, which I later found out was a very embarrassed former operative she blackmailed with photos of him misusing a leaf blower. Brenda had changed into what she called her battle outfit, a power blazer, sunglasses at night, and enough perfume to qualify as chemical warfare. As ridiculous as she looked, Maya was counting on that. Brenda, in all her chaotic energy, was the distraction. She was going to pretend to be Maya, loud, obnoxious, disruptive Maya, the perfect bait for anyone in the room who might be tracking her real identity. The hall was filled with the type of people who carried clipboards like they were weapons. There was a snack table with suspiciously perfect cookies, a sign-in sheet that doubled as a biometric scanner, and at least 3 men who were definitely pretending to be confused about the neighborhood's recycling schedule while discreetly checking everyone's shoes for tracking devices. Maya whispered instructions to Brenda, who nodded like she was being briefed before a reality show finale. I stayed close to the door, ears open, ready to pull the fire alarm or create some other diversion if things went south. Brenda launched into her performance almost immediately. "Excuse me, where's the agenda? I need to add a point about suspicious garden gnomes that may be spying on my begonias." The room paused. All heads turned. A few chuckled awkwardly. One man in the back narrowed his eyes. Maya leaned in and whispered, "That's our guy. Gnome rage always brings out the real ones." She was half joking, maybe. As the meeting began, Maya quietly slipped through a back door marked "Maintenance Only." I followed, my heart pounding in my ears. The hallway behind it looked like any other, dingy linoleum, flickering lights. But it led to a secured door with a keypad. Maya pulled out a tiny device no bigger than a chapstick and pressed it against the lock. The screen blinked twice, then clicked open. "They really thought an old firewall keypad was secure," she muttered. "Amateurs." Inside was what looked like a janitor's closet, until Maya flicked a hidden switch. The shelves rotated, revealing a staircase. Cold air hit us like a slap. We descended carefully. Below was a soundproofed bunker aligned with servers, surveillance equipment, and screens streaming feeds from drones and satellites. It was like stepping into the lair of someone who thought Google Maps was for cowards. Maya moved through the room like she'd been there before, fingers flying across a keyboard, unlocking files, decrypting audio logs, bypassing firewalls like she was checking her email. I hovered near the door, pretending I was useful. She pulled up a file titled Project Cinder Echo. The screen showed multiple names: hers, Brenda's, mine, her ex-handler Craven, and a countdown. "It's not just a data laundering ring," Maya said. "They are selling code that can hijack national satellites. Whoever controls this can rewrite communications mid-broadcast, election data, military ops, emergency systems, all of it." I swallowed. "Why use an HOA?" "Because no one suspects the people obsessed with trash pickup schedules," she said. We were interrupted by static. A voice came through the speakers, distorted but unmistakably aware of our presence. "Agent Vesper, we knew you'd come back. That chip doesn't belong to you, and neither does the girl." Maya froze, then calmly shut the monitor off. "They're already watching Brenda." We bolted back upstairs. In the main hall, Brenda was mid-rant about how HOA board elections were rigged by nepotism when 3 men quietly closed in around her. She hadn't noticed yet. Maya whistled sharply, and Brenda turned just in time to see Maya throw her a metallic disc. It hit Brenda square in the chest and clung to her blazer. "What is this, a fashion grenade?" Brenda shrieked. The disc beat once. A pulse of blue light erupted, sending the approaching men stumbling back, their earpieces shorting out. Maya grabbed Brenda's arm and pulled her toward the exit. "You just flash-fried their comms network," she explained as we burst into the parking lot. "Congratulations, you're officially more useful than my last 3 partners." We made it to the car, but as Maya started the engine, the rearview mirror reflected headlights. For cars closing fast. "They are not trying to kill us," Maya said as we swerved onto the main road. "Not yet. They need that chip." Brenda looked at her. "What if I really do have it? Like in my purse or something? Could he have planted it there?" Maya didn't answer. Instead, she turned the wheel sharply and pulled into a quiet cul-de-sac. We got out. She opened Brenda's purse and dumped the contents onto the hood of the car: lipstick, coupons, an emergency travel-sized cheese grater, and one red keychain shaped like a unicorn. Maya picked it up slowly. The eyes glowed faintly. "It's not the chip," she said, turning it over. "It's a data prism. It's storing mirrored fragments of the original chip's code." Brenda blinked. "So that's bad. That's end-of-the-world bad if someone assembles the whole file," Maya replied. "This means your husband didn't just hide the chip. He broke it into pieces, probably sent each fragment to a different place." I groaned. "Like a cyber scavenger hunt from hell." Brenda crossed her arms. "And let me guess, we're collecting all the pieces before the HOA does?" Maya slipped the unicorn keychain into her pocket. "We're going to bait them into thinking we already have them all. And when they come for us, we'll finish this." Brenda stared at her. "You're insane." "Probably," Maya said. "But we've got one advantage they don't." "What's that?" I asked. Maya turned to us, smirking. "We're unpredictable. And we've got a Brenda." For a moment, even with the world on the brink of digital collapse, we laughed. Because somehow, against every odd, the most dangerous weapon we had wasn't a gun or a satellite. It was a woman who could weaponize entitlement like no one else. And the enemy had no idea what was coming. Morning hit like a slap. Not the gentle kind you see in rom-coms where sunlight pours through white curtains, but the aggressive kind where the sky glares down on you like it's personally disappointed in your life choices. We were holed up in an abandoned co-working space Maya had secured through an old favor with a retired CIA tech analyst turned organic coffee barista. The place still smelled like failed startups and unwashed beanbag chairs, but it had working Wi-Fi, a roof, and one glorious thing: isolation. Maya stood by a whiteboard filled with squiggled diagrams that looked like hieroglyphics unless you were a military-grade codebreaker. Brenda, armed with a giant latte and 10% understanding of the situation, was trying to balance a croissant on her knee while asking questions like, "If we do survive this, can I keep the unicorn keychain?" Maya ignored her. She was laser-focused, mapping out the architecture of the digital trap we were about to spring. The data prism Brenda unknowingly carried had already triggered several deep web pings, which meant one thing: the enemy thought we had the full code. And that made us bait delicious, well-lit, conveniently located bait. We weren't going to run, not anymore. We were going to let them come to us. The goal was simple: fake a full upload of the chip's contents and trace every incoming signal back to its source, then burn them all. To pull this off, Maya needed a digital stage. She tapped into an underground tech cafe known for its no-questions-asked server policy, which basically meant you could live stream the apocalypse, and they'd just offer you a gluten-free brownie. The plan was to create a public-facing upload countdown that looked like the red chip's data was being unlocked in real time. Every hacker, spy, and corrupted agent would want a piece of it, and once they started digging, Maya's trap would slam shut like a steel bear trap laced with sarcasm. Brenda, now fully invested in the chaos, decided she was going to help manage public interest. She set up a burner social media account called Redcode Revealed and began posting cryptic messages about the chip's upload. Somehow, within 10 minutes, she had over 15,000 followers. "People love drama," she said while typing a caption that read, "The truth is 1 hour away. Watch the skies." Maya didn't even blink. "Just keep them looking and make sure the upload link is shared everywhere. The more eyes, the better." We arrived at the cafe just after noon. It was tucked between a vegan tattoo parlor and an aggressive bookstore called Facts and Knives. The inside looked like the set of a hacker movie that took itself way too seriously. Dim lighting, people hunched over keyboards, and a suspicious number of potted succulents. Maya took the back booth, plugged into the terminal, and unleashed digital war. I stayed close, scanning the room. Brenda ordered a matcha and casually told the barista she might be on an NSA watch list. The upload countdown began at 60 minutes. Within the first 10 proxy pings tried to breach the network. Maya grinned. They are biting. At the 30-minute mark, encrypted messages flooded in. One in particular caught her eye, a code signature she hadn't seen in years. Craven, her old handler. He wasn't just watching, he was coordinating. Maya didn't say anything, but I saw the twitch in her jaw. This wasn't just about cleaning up loose ends anymore. This was personal. Outside, black cars began circling the block. Inside the cafe, signal jammers began to fail. Maya's fingers flew across the keyboard, redirecting packets, rerouting access points, locking down server IDs. Brenda, now convinced she was a tech savant, loudly announced she just blocked 3 bots. She'd actually closed Google Chrome, but we let her have the moment. 15 minutes to go. The data stream flashed on every monitor in the cafe, the fake chip unraveling like a cinematic virus. The enemies outside couldn't risk a public extraction, so they tried to shut it down remotely. Maya was counting on it. When the final wave of incoming hacks slammed into the firewalls, she launched her backdoor trace, feeding them all a mirror server that rerouted their data to a local external drive she'd strapped to the underside of the table. Every incoming threat was now copying itself into our hands. Then the unexpected happened. One of the cars outside didn't stop. It rammed straight through the front of the cafe, shattering glass and flipping tables. Screams exploded. People dove for cover. Maya shielded the drive. Brenda screamed about her matcha, and I tackled a guy who was trying to sneak out with someone else's laptop. 3 agents jumped from the car, armed but not firing yet. Their target was clear, Maya. She stood, calm as ever, holding the external drive in one hand. Looking for this. One of them lunged. Maya sidestepped, slammed him into a counter, and kicked his weapon across the floor. Brenda tried to throw a chair, but ended up hitting herself. I managed to disarm another attacker by tripping over a bean bag and falling into him. Chaos, pure and ridiculous. Craven entered last. No mask, no panic, just that same smug, unreadable face from all those years ago. You never could leave things alone, could you? Maya faced him. You sent them after me. He nodded. You were the last variable. Now you've done exactly what I needed. They're all exposed. The buyers, the handlers, the traders. You saved me months of work. You used us, she said, voice low. I trained you to be useful, he said. And you are. Still, this ends here. Maya stepped forward. It does. She pressed the drive into the terminal and hit enter. But instead of the upload continuing, everything went black. Craven blinked. What did you do? Maya smiled. You wanted the chip? I just uploaded a kill switch into every device that accessed our fake stream. You'll have to explain to your bosses why every buyer on the list is now blind, deaf, and burned. He lunged. She was faster. One move, one twist, and he was on the ground, gasping. Sirens screamed in the distance. Someone had called the cops, or more likely, Maya had arranged it 20 minutes ago. Craven looked up at her. They'll never let you go. She crouched. Then I'll stop running. As the authorities arrived, Maya slipped out the back with me and Brenda in tow. We didn't say much on the way back to the car. Brenda finally broke the silence. So, are we done? Or are we starting a war? Maya started the engine. Hopefully neither. Brenda sighed. Well, I'm keeping the keychain. Maya didn't argue. Later that week, we watched the news as dozens of corrupt officials and tech brokers were arrested in a coordinated global sting. Maya never claimed credit. She went back to pretending she worked in data analytics. Brenda started a podcast called Brenda Saves the World. I just went back to finishing my half-eaten taquito in peace. But every now and then, a black car would drive by slowly, and Maya would glance up just slightly. Not afraid, just ready. Because in the end, dragging her out of her car wasn't Brenda's biggest mistake. It was not knowing who she really was.